Seen this before and we're like, what happened? Why is James Houston covering the dude down the field? The reason he is because if you're playing like we've seen James Houston play off-ball backer, or you're putting him in almost outside the box slot alignment like Jack Campbell is here, if they go vertical in cover 3 like this wheel route, you have to carry that, because if you don't carry this, now Jerry Jacobs is 2-on-1, and if it's not fast enough to communicate, that wheel route towards the outside is going to be wide open if he just passes it off. Really good coverage by Jack Campbell on that play. That's just straight up, that's all it is. Jack Campbell just covers him up really well. He's caught in the mix, and they take him away completely, and that allows Derek Barnes, who's sitting underneath, to fill the run, open up, and then shut down the running back. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back with another Detroit Lions All-22 breakdown, and today we are here to take a look at this Carolina Panthers game. Now, we're going to be breaking this into offense and defense once again. I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit shorter, though this one will likely be a little bit longer because I just think there was more defensive plays to take a look at, and there was a lot of creativity. I thought the Lions found ways to end up getting pressure on Bryce Young with an offensive line that was handling some of the blitz as well, some of the stunts that we were doing up front. Aaron Glenn found ways to be creative and get guys home as the game went on. Then also some disguises that I noticed in coverage when watching the game back, where I was like, oh, dang, I didn't even notice that they did that, but that was super crafty. Not to say that everything worked out perfectly, but you could see the intention to detail. A lot of plays where it was, hey, let's take Thielen out of this one, or let's bracket him in, or let's make sure that we take away the middle of the field. The depth of the linebackers was real in this game. Mixing coverages, different techniques from the cornerback position. There was a lot going on in this game, so we're going to try to show a whole bunch of different clips from the defensive side of the ball. But also some of these clips are going to be more straight to the point, like this first one, where I just want to highlight maybe a couple specific players that I thought, man, he just made a good play. And one guy that I noted very quick, there's a lot of guys that I gave like, man, he looked good, like Isaiah Buggs. Kirby Joseph was someone. Jerry Jacobs, I thought, played another really strong game. Not perfect, had an illegal contact call in there, but I thought he played a really strong game. Of course, he had the interception, but then also he had some really key one-on-one matchups with DJ Chark, or even one with Adam Thielen, where he held his own. So I thought he played a really strong game. And then also the communication of a guy like Cam Sutton and Aidan Hutchinson. Now, I thought our defensive line was really good as a whole. One of my immediate takeaways from this game was our ability to not let Bryce Young basically escape a broken play and make a big play out of it. We saw him run around a lot, but nothing really came of it outside of just throwing the ball away. That was it. So I thought the Lions did an excellent job there once again. Maybe their best effort at being disciplined in pass rush lanes where they were bringing a blitz from, but then also individually, man, they had some dudes ball out. Isaiah Buggs gave us an early impact. I thought Aidan Hutchinson was pretty great for the entire game. Maybe there was like little instances, but I thought he was pretty great, dominating the tight end position for a lot of the game. This first play here, we'll take a look at a jet sweep. I'm going to go a little bit quicker through some of these plays that we could spend more time on some of the ones where I'm trying to show what's going on maybe in coverage. But here we get a jet sweep look offensively. One thing that we saw a ton of was the receiver coming in line, lead blocking the inside zone. We saw a lot of that, kind of like we expected coming into this game. We'll take a look at some good and bad from that. But this is a jet sweep look. They tried to get Laviska Shenault the ball. They gave it to him a couple times like this. Okay, they had another look where they kind of give a fake toss, handed it off to him, and he kind of broke inside the tackle box for a pretty nice chunk. But this was a jet sweep early in the game. You could see the motion shifts to defense. Big thing was defensive backs run support. Here, Tracy Walker, there's actually going to be a pin down block from Adam Thielen on this play. He's going to fight through that pin down block. And then also, I point out Aidan Hutchinson working through the tight end here with the swim move. Boom. Working through that tight end instantly. Tracy Walker fighting through the pin down block to try to force this to cut back upfield. And then Aidan Hutchinson making an excellent play on this jet stop. Emphasis in this game for the Lions was to take away the quick little hitters on the middle of the field underneath, like to the tight end that's in line here. This wasn't the example of that necessarily, where the Lions were dropping out a defensive lineman to try to take that away, but they did a lot of that in this game. Instead, here we're just going to get a simple cover one look here defensively. Notice who the Lions are bringing down. They're going to bring down Kirby Joseph on this play. Also, depth, very important. It's really important to keep in mind kind of the leverage that a lot of our defensive backs are playing with pre-snap, because it gave you a lot of information of how the Lions were trying to attack, I think, offensively. So here, Will Harris sitting outside leverage against the slot, has the two-way go opportunity there in Adam Thielen. So he's sitting outside leverage. You can see him jumping outside here. They're going to bring and roll down Kirby Joseph. So he's going to kind of bracket in Adam Thielen on this play. Then I look at Cam Sutton. You see him at the top of the screen. We're again manned up here. We saw a stretch, especially towards the end of the game, where the Lions went man. I thought coming into this game, this was a good matchup for us. Not to say that it was perfect all the time, but I just thought personnel for personnel, you could look at it and say, hey, we should win this battle more often than not, especially if we could take away Thielen. So here's kind of an example example of that to me. But then I look to Cam Sutton here at the top of the screen. So first look to the tight end, you could see Derek Barnes, middle field here with the tight end, takes that away. Then we come over here to Cam Sutton one-on-one. Here's what I like about this. So we know Sutton likes to play kind of that half-turn style, even in man coverage. So there's your look right there. Starts in kind of the base of the line, opens himself up. Now he's in that half-turn look on DJ Chark. He starts to attack his blind spot. Watch him on this play. So when he looks to throw it there, watch Cam Sutton. He's sitting in half-turn. He feels it in his blind spot. Now he opens himself up to DJ Chark. Bryce Young does not like that. Now he gets pushed off a little bit at the top of the route here. So there was some separation. But Bryce Young has already moved on to number 3, which is his check down, because Cam Sutton's awareness to open himself up, force Bryce Young to say, I don't like that. Now he comes down to number 3, and that's the check down, which Alex Anzalone, you could see, flying down, covers it up well. So we take out 1, then 2, and then 3 is all taken away. Hutchinson here with a little bit of bull rush, but then again, the contain on the play is what's key, keeping him from taking off and making something happen after the play. You can see Benito Jones getting his way out there, forcing a throwaway. So that was one of the early man coverage looks, but I really like what Cam Sutton did on that play. Wasn't perfect for him today, but really good communication. I thought that was a good example of just a good play. Here we go to a third down situation defensively, and again, the Lions go into man coverage, another cover 1 look defensively. They're going to bring down, once again, this safety onto the side of Adam Thielen. You can see the outside leverage here from Will Harris. They're going to bring down Kirby Joseph. Now, there's that short out motion. Derek Barnes is going to have to fly through there. Again, we talk about the depth to allow us to not get caught in these rub route situations. Look at Will Harris, back up, get depth. He's able to roll through that. But then you look, as this instantly, if you watch Adam Thielen on display, tied along with the rub route, because in this situation, Will Harris is likely just going to be chasing on this play. He instantly releases underneath and he's dragging the middle of the field. So instantly, Will Harris sees that. He follows it for a step, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to drop it off, communicate. Now, Kirby Joseph, you go get ahead of that. So notice on this play, Kirby Joseph very fast to take this away. The Lions started mixing in some blitz looks with this. This is not one of those examples. We're only bringing 4 on this play. But the recognition there of Kirby to see that, instantly releasing inside, he jumps over top to take that away, and that route's not going to be open. Great job there by Kirby and Will Harris there. Will Harris is then going to drop out into kind of the zone look defensively. So again, it's almost like a cover 1 robber type of look that ultimately turns into a cover 1 kind of like a rat look here with Will Harris on the play, playing that underneath zone. You can see it right here. And actually what's going to happen is Alex Anzalone, who's matched up on the tight end, covering him up pretty well, you're going to see that Will Harris is then going to dive down and take away Bryce Young once again as he attempts to take off. Charles Harris does a nice job initially there with some of the contain. Again, not rolling around to the outside and giving up this pass rush lane. We've seen that happen. He jumps back inside. Now Bryce Young is forced to kind of roll it outside, and then again, Will Harris is going to close on this play. But once again, good man coverage across the board, but it's really the communication that stands out here. You can see Jerry Jacobs one-on-one with DJ Chark, little press off the line there, but overall, good coverage once again. Lions forced to throw away on 3rd down. Lions are actually going to blitz a slot. This is something that I talked about maybe the Lions would try to do. I wasn't sure if they would. They didn't do it all the time, but it was bringing potentially a nickel blitz or a slot blitz to try to stop the run specifically, to play the early down run game, and that's what they do here. So you can see Isaiah Buggs going to slant inside. They're going to slant inside Aidan Hutchinson, and they're going to bring the slot off the edge. So every gap is then filled. Now you're going to see here for Jack Campbell, if Isaiah Buggs is jumping across to the opposite side A gap, then of course in that situation, Jack Campbell would have that side A gap. Isaiah Buggs fills the right A gap of the center. Jack Campbell reads the wham on this play. You can see it here with the tight end crashing inside. He's going to go pick up Lee McNeil. Bam. But it's Jack Campbell with the clean fill and stop limiting this run game. You'll notice right before the snap, Jack Campbell slides to fill the opposite side A gap, understanding that Isaiah Buggs is going to slant in, Hutch is going to slant in, and that slot's coming. So it allows him to fill, scrape through, and then make the play. You can see him fill upfield, recognize it, slide, scrape down, make a good tackle. That was just a good play from Jack Campbell. He had a couple good plays in this game that really flashed. That was one of them. For one blitz, you're going to see him kind of flying across the middle of the field. They end up getting a completion here. But this is picked up really well by the offensive line. Now you can see kind of what Aaron Glenn's plan was in this game. So you can see both linebackers walking up to blitz. Then they're going to bring the slot on this play. Now, as we talked about coming into the game, their running backs are very good in pass protection. So watch him pick this up. He's going to read the slot coming off the edge, and he's going to step in there and pick up Will Harris on this play. They were trying to get free rushers, and they started to as the game went on, but they did not here. You're going to see Chandler Zavala handles this pretty well. They slide in pass protection, and then as Jack Campbell stunts around or loops around Derek Barnes on this play, you're going to see that he actually picks him up and ends up picking up the block. And then, because you're bringing that slot blitz, you're asking your safety to come down and cover up Adam Thielen, and he's able to just pick up a crossing route for a big first down on a 3rd and long situation. This one did not get home, but a lot of them going forward did. Couple things here. First off, Jack Campbell is very recognizable pre-snap. With the depth that he is showing, he's not pressed up like hiding behind John Kaminsky so that left guard Zavala does not see him. He's very noticeable, and it's also pretty instant in terms of his loop. There's no really delay. We'll take a look at some plays later where we kind of hid behind the DT and then we stunt around, and they can't really see him coming. In this case, he's very easy to notice, and they had to adjust to
Also, from a slot blitz perspective, a lot of times we would sit inside leverage. A couple times later in the game, we hit it better, but we would have to be a little bit wider. However, we're also doing it to a little bit more of the vision side of the running back here where we're blitzing from. So he's able to use his eyes and find the blitzer in Will Harris on this play, understanding that it's 5-on-5 in the interior. So he picks this up well. Blitzing from the opposite side where he didn't have vision at times was also helpful.
Here the Lions go into what looks like another cover one look defensively, and really the key here, you're going to see Cam Sutton rotates to play kind of that free safety role. We asked our cornerbacks to do this. It speaks to the versatility because you would have matchups like this where you roll down Kirby Joseph on the play, all of a sudden now he's on a receiver. We had that happen a couple times. There was multiple different players that were playing that safety position at times in this game. We went to those cover one looks, but I think the real key here is Aidan Hutchinson, of course. Okay, that's really all we need to point out from this. It's just an acrobatic play. Again, I just wanted to spotlight the play that he made here, which was excellent. You're going to see with the jet motion across, you're going to see on the play that Tracy Walker, basically with the motion in first with the running back, Tracy Walker's got the running back. Then they bring down the safety Kirby Joseph, who's going to take away that jet motion. So Tracy Walker as running back, and then of course Alex Anzalone can just be that free zone defender over the middle of the field. Then you look at Jack Campbell with the inline tight end. Now, what we did see in this game is Aidan Hutchinson, we'd see it, was playing through the tight end. So like this, playing through the tight end. Now in this case, he shows and then works around the edge. Now Jack Campbell would be manned up if this is man coverage on the tight end in this play. He fills to play the run as the tight end kind of just leaks outside. He fills to plays the run, and then this is just an excellent play by Hutchinson. Tight end sticks with it, tries to rip through, then he leaks back out. Hutchinson recognizes it, sits down, and picks it off. We shut down their screenplays for a majority of this game. I mean, we did really well there, and I thought that was just a huge part of their offense coming in, and the Lions handled it really well. One of these inside zone looks. This one's a little bit different than a lot of the ones that we are going to show. This one's out of single back, and you're going to see that they're going to put the receiver in line at that tight end position like we saw a lot, but this is not like a lot of the other run plays that we're going to show. But again, I wanted to point out some players individually, and here I wanted to point out Isaiah Buggs and making that early impact. Here on the strong side of the formation, he's playing in that 2-eye look, which is a little bit different than what we've seen at times for the Lions defensively. But watch him on this play. He's going to jump into that A-gap. You're going to watch him match the guard. Watch him jump into the A-gap, bam, sit himself down, and then play through the gap over. And you're going to see it right here. He's not going to be driven out of the play by that guard. He handles this really well. I thought this was just an excellent play from Isaiah Buggs, and I wanted to circle him on this play. Step in front, sit himself down, and he kind of just collapses any window that's there to run through on this inside zone play. Alex with the A-gap here. You're going to see Benito Jones trying to work through that guard, B-gap through, and then again, Romeo Okwara setting that edge. And then on the backside here, it's actually Kirby Joseph who's going to fly through and actually get here on this backside stop. But Lions were giving a lot of different techniques, looks defensively. They were trying to disguise, I think, some man and zone looks and what kind of zone that they were rolling into. So here, pre-snap, this looks like man across the board. The Lions, we've seen this before, and it was actually something I pointed out against the Packers where I was like, dude, if you look at this, the Lions are showing man heavy on this play. They're giving you all the indicators that this is man coverage, and then all of a sudden it's zone coverage, and that can be tricky. And this was an opportunity for Derek Barnes, we talked about disguising things, to make a play. And you can see the coaching staff felt like he could. He was kind of frustrated because it was like, man, there was an opportunity there. And it's going to happen on this 2 receiver side. So they go empty look defensively. They're showing man. Derek Barnes is lined out wide. He's matched up with the back on this play. So it's man coverage looking like across the field. Also, you're going to see Jerry Jacobs is lined up in the slot, one-on-one and Adam Thielen on this play. He's sitting towards that outside leverage, almost as if Kirby could roll down and potentially take away the inside. But the point is, this is actually going to roll into a Tampa 2 look defensively. So they bring 4 rushers, and then they're going into zone. So Alex is going to open himself up, and then they're going to zone up here underneath. Now, on this play, we're going to see Derek Barnes is sitting. You're going to see inside leverage, right? He's giving up the outside. Usually, the cornerbacks will kind of give that push towards the outside, buy a little bit of time for that safety to get over top. Usually, that's how they'll play that. So you see here when he releases outside, he overcommits, I think, on this play to try to get some contact. Then when he runs by him, now he's too far out, and there's too much of a hole that he created here for this vertical route and then the out route to sit right underneath.
And I think this disguise is extremely important. One thing that was an emphasis, again, was taking away middle of the field. So if you look on the opposite side, more towards the far side of the field where they stack and run that 2-man concept, they give you a drive look. They go drag and then deep dig route. Now, Alex is necessarily going to take away that dig route because it's a Tampa 2 look. But the drag is going to be wide open on that side of the field because of the fact that the Lions are going into Tampa 2, and usually that middle part of the field is what's wide open. The Lions don't drop a DT out. So it's important that they disguise the short side of the field to make Bryce Young believe that he may have a linebacker out wide to go at on this play to get him to go that direction. They're trying to bait him, I believe, into going that direction because otherwise that drag route is just going to be wide open to hit. And you also, on top of that, the fact that Jerry Jacobs is sitting outside leverage in the slot, you don't have any support towards the inside. So the disguise here, to me, feels like a bait on this play.
This was an opportunity based on what the Lions showed, like, hey, look, it looks like we're playing man across the board. You might get a one-on-one with Thielen here. And then as you see, when Thielen has that clean release towards the outside, as Bryce Young seeing this running back, which I'm sure Derek Barnes is trying to disguise it like, oh, he's going to run vertical to make sure that he throws this ball there. So maybe that's why he's sticking with it like he is. But as he does that, he's unable to get back in time here. And you're going to see it's actually a pretty good job by the receiver sitting down on this play because he didn't completely run through it. I think he just recognized that Jerry was dropping off and like, oh, this is zone coverage. And maybe Bryce Young did a little bit too on this play. You're going to see here, maybe not rolling him through completely to Derek Barnes' spot and kind of sitting him down a little bit in his zone hole. So I would say that's not a bad job by Bryce Young in this situation as well. But you can see they were trying to set up a disguise look here, roll into a zone look. And then by the time he opens himself back up, he's not in position. And he's also a linebacker trying to move like that. You can see the coaches were fired up, and so was he after the play. They tried to disguise the look there. It didn't happen. They did it a little bit later where Jerry got the pick, but that one did not. One of the things that I thought was really interesting in this game was putting John Kaminsky at that 3 technique, right? We've seen this before. I don't think it's ever consistently that great. And here's that kind of look, right, where he's trying to play through the guard, sit himself down against that down block. You can see how far he's driven out of the play here. So while he's playing into the B gap and trying to hold that down block, Alex Anzalone to fill the A gap is fine because it's still open, as you're going to see here, but at the same time, he's driven so far out, there is a gaping hole that's created. Then it comes down to, like we talked about coming into this game, the receiver is blocking in line. So you're going to see here, Tracy Walker and Cam Sutton. Now he's going to fill. So Tracy Walker fills outside the tackle, then it's going to be Cam Sutton who fills outside that receiver that's stepping in the block. And then, of course, on the edge, you have Aidan Hutchinson working through that tight end like this, for example, setting that edge. So it really comes down to them putting the defensive backs in the action. We've seen this a lot. It's one of the ways they get success offensively. Then it also kind of depends, I think, a little bit on what coverage you're in. Here it looks like they're more potentially in a zone look defensively, and we saw this. Tracy Walker would kind of play into that kind of sky roll of the cover 3. A lot of cover 3 from our defense in this game. So he's going to fill aggressively here, but of course he's going to play through the receiver that's going to crash down that down block. He's got to get contact, and then he's got to fill inside this gap here, and you can see how much distance is actually created by John Kaminsky just getting drove back. So even if he gets off the block, there's just so much distance that's created with John Kaminsky as that 3 technique on this play. Cam Sutton can fill, but you're just going to see it's just too big of a hole that's created. Now, coming back to it, John Kaminsky, I think, does a better job here. If you look at the way he approached this last time in terms of how he took on the right guard, watch him on this play, aggressively shooting into the guard, trying to get kind of that knockback, and then he's driven off. Doesn't really hold ground. Now watch when they come back to it. Same look here. Again, once again, at that 3 technique. Look how he plays this one. He doesn't drive through the guard upfield. Instead, he tries to sit himself down. Now, he still gets kind of knocked onto the ground here, but he decides to sit himself down a little bit into this guard, hold his ground a little bit better, not give up that huge gaping hole. And I think it's a little bit of a better job. He still goes down, but it holds up a little bit longer, doesn't give as massive of a gap for the running back to attack through. Then, if you look at the defensive back position, notice how everybody reacts here. Showing a little bit more man. Tight end, you can see Sutton kind of reacts to the tight end as Hutchinson plays through that, and again, tries to set the edge there. And then also, you're going to see Tracy Walker. He's going to kind of step with the receiver on this play, a little bit less aggressive upfield, kind of match almost as like his release, and then he's going to get into the block and then have to get off to the inside. Does a solid job. It opens up Cam Sutton to come down and short and limit this gain. Also notice Derek Barnes on the backside here. The A to that B gap from a guy like Aleem McNeil. Derek Barnes has to stay disciplined on this backside. Now, it does free him up, Aleem McNeil doing his job over here, to scrape down once this thing hits to the second level. But he's got to stay disciplined, because there's a play later we'll take a look at where he just kind of recognized what they were going to try to do, and he immediately jumped this way, and the running back saw that. He bounces it, and there's a huge rush lane created. In this case, though, discipline scrapes over. He can help out like that, but that's got to stay disciplined. There was an example where he didn't stay that disciplined. Point to Jerry Jacobs once again, the coverage that he's playing right here. You can see he's kind of based up with this receiver, and you're going to see he plays this really well sitting down on this play, matching him inside breaking route, and actually he matches the broken play as well, because while this thing breaks inside, then he takes off upfield. Jerry Jacobs stays right in that outside hip. He covered it up extremely well there on DJ Chark. Then you also look at the linebacker position. Again, we're in quarters look here. Here's your kind of umbrella. He's just pressed up on this 2-receiver side, or it's a 2x2 look really. He's just pressed up out by the numbers. But watch the communication with Jack Campbell, Alex on this play. So they're all going to fly out there. You have 3 receivers on this side, 2 on this side with the running back. You're going to see Alex gets out there to take away the back. Jack Campbell flies down to take away this quick curl route. And then, of course, this was the coverage I liked a lot, the idea of coming into the game, but you lose someone that can play in the box. And the Lions played a lot more cover 3. I just thought they had a couple tweaks to it to also be able to play the run. So credit to them. They had some creativity there for sure. But then you're also going to see Will Harris here. He's kind of got to match the two-way go. He's sitting inside leverage, but this, of course, could break outside. So now he gets on top of the route. He's going to go inside. They have the safety over top here. And this is really good coverage across the board. Then Aidan Hutchinson, I think he had like 1.5 sacks, but he had a lot of wins immediately. Like this. Chop down, forces pressure, and then again, look at the contain here. You're going to see it. I think this is Benito Jones. See him get to the inside. They double him up. Instead of continuing to rush through, he drops out and then contains on this play. Bryce Young has nowhere to go. They close it off. Good coverage again. Picking up some of our simplified blitz looks like this on the slot. You can see he's hitting inside leverage, and I thought that gave him a little bit of a quicker path to the quarterback other than sitting outside. Here they're going to roll into this cover 3 look, but they're going to blitz that flat defender, or more kind of the hook defender on this play, Will Harris. They're going to blitz him, but watch how the tackle handles this. He recognizes that Will Harris is coming, and when he sees them slant inside, watch him set back outside, take away Will Harris. So we don't get the free rusher. We get maybe a little pressure there from Charles, but we don't get the free rusher. What that does, it kind of puts 2x2 on a 2-1-2 here with our defensive backs. Kirby Joseph rolls down. One thing that was very emphasized was where the sticks were. Now this is a second down look, and you're going to see he's going to go run a curl route, and then they're going to run this flat underneath, and you're going to see as he sits down, he takes away the curl route, but then Jerry Jacobs, who has the deep third, you're going to see the distance that's created. He then tries to shoot down, make that tackle. He misses the tackle, and that's really what it came down to on that play. An impressive play by Will Harris, okay? There were times in this game where certain guys basically had to go one-on-one. This was an example. Will Harris stepping up to the challenge here, I believe against Mingo 15 on this play in that outside slot alignment. Watch him on this play, but really watch what's going on. So you can see the safeties in the inside. Again, you have a free zone defender. This time it's Jack Campbell. You're going to see him sit inside, take away that quick curl route against kind of an off look a little bit here from the cornerback, Cam Sutton. So he's sitting on top of it. Jack Campbell takes away that quick little hitch they like to throw. Alex is then forced to get out there, take away the flat. He does that. So they all do their job on the right side of the field. Then into the middle of the field, you have the safety sitting against the slot receivers, as we talked about. Kirby Joseph is rolled down into the box. He did a pretty good job on Thielen. Who do you think they're going to go to in the red zone? I would pick that guy as well. So while this is sitting outside leverage, as soon as that thing releases inside, Tracy sits down, takes it away. Now Kirby can become that free defender as we saw earlier. But that means that it basically isolates one-on-one Will Harris. He's sitting outside leverage on this play, but he does an excellent job without having help, really. Now Kirby can kind of give it to him, but he presses him upfield and then breaks this thing back inside. So this is going to be difficult to get much help at all on this play. And sitting outside, he tries to go into him and break back inside. It's covered up extremely well. He breaks it back inside, but it's covered up extremely well here. Now, I think if this was like a drag on this play, you know, they could switch this off, and then Kirby Joseph could come to free defender. So if we had like a quick like inside break, I think you could have a little bit of help to the inside. But because he pushes him so darn far downfield, and the safety's got to sit down to help and kind of bracket in Evan Thielen, you kind of lose any help for Will Harris. So he's one-on-one in this play, and he just made an excellent play. Look how he sticks with him at the top of the route. That's really well done. You can see some of that burst top of the route here for Will Harris, staying balanced right there. Boom. Shoots out of a cannon, breaks it up at the catch point. Maybe the ball is a little bit behind, but it was good coverage from Will Harris, making a massive play when he's put on an island. What I really liked about the disguise interception for the Lions defensively is that the Lions hadn't run cover 2 in this game once, from what I had noted. They had played one Tampa 2 look, but they had not run cover 2, and that went completely opposite of what they have been doing for the entirety of the game. Now, against some of these condensed looks, we would get quarters defensively, so I almost think they were kind of showing some quarters, specifically with the safety position, which could make you feel that maybe this would be open, but then by the way that Jerry plays it, you know it's not quarters coverage. So at that point, this route really feels open. It feels like Kirby Joseph is kind of giving this up on this play, and that's when Jerry just peeks in there and says, hey, I'm picking this thing off. So pre-snap, you get the safety rolled down, almost to show potentially cover 3 on this play. Maybe it's manned up, but you can see by the leverage created here, half-turn pre-snap, it doesn't look exactly like this is going to be man coverage. This, to me, feels like it's going to be a zone coverage on this play. Then they roll back to safety. They do the short out motion. You're going to see that no one's going to go out there with it. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is zone coverage on display. Now, with them both being in that slot alignment, Jerry Jacobs is going to sit outside leverage. There's no need to sit inside on this play. And take a look at what he does. The outside receiver immediately releases vertical. He's outside of both of them, but he immediately releases vertical. If this is quarters, he's not going to let that just release vertical and let that go.
And as you watch with a lot of the signs, it almost feels like it's either a cover 6 or a cover 2 on this play to the short side of the field. They're in that cover 2 look because the safety split. Jerry Jacobs lets it get vertical. Now this backside, Sutton looks like he's getting some more depth, and they're playing a little bit more on the hash, so that side feels like it could be a little bit closer to a quarters look. But on this short side, they're making it feel like for sure Jerry's got underneath. Over top is Kirby Joseph on this play.
Instantly, he says, okay, I'm going to let that go. Now, he opens his hips, but he lets that thing go. He opens his hip, but he lets that thing go. You can see it releasing vertical here. Then you're going to get this high-low look. They're going to run a corner, and they're going to run like a flat out route here, which Jerry Jacobs is seemingly going to have on this play. They roll their safeties post-snap. You can see him rolling out here. Still sticking to the inside a little bit, kind of giving me the sense that this could be quarters coverage, but basically on this play, he doesn't immediately go outside. It kind of feels like it could be quarters, but where they're aligned, okay, that makes sense. But the point is as Jerry Jacobs opens up his hips and he lets that first route get vertical, notice what he does on this play. So they have the underneath route here, so he's going to stick with this little out route, and that's what Bryce Young is looking on this play. Now, notice how slick Jerry Jacobs is, okay? Jerry Jacobs slows himself down as if he's going to open up and take this away. Watch him here. So watch him drop with it, and then as it starts to break, he slows himself down. Look at right there. Look at his body language on this play. He looks like he's about to flip his hips back open and take away this out route right there. You see how he starts to kind of lean back right here. It's like, okay, he's slowing down. He's going to flip open and he's going to drop out or drive down on this play. And then I'm going to have that corner route because as Kirby Joseph is dropping, he's not getting to the outside. My receiver now has that outside leverage because he's still inside the numbers and he's got to flip himself around. This looks like an easy money throw, but Jerry Jacobs never actually opens his hips back to this underneath receiver. Instead, he stays in that half turn look. He plays it like he is. He never opens his hips. Stays in the half-turn looks and continues to get depth just playing through the quarterback's eyes, and then he makes an interception. That was beautiful. It was also the difference of we hadn't shown the coverage. So it was something completely different than what we had seen. So it looks like cover 3 with a lot of the signs to get pre-snapped. Then you're like, hold up, is it quarters? Then you see, okay, maybe he's going to open up, take the flat. Now we know it's cover 2, great. Then it's not. It didn't dive down like you naturally would. So there was so much going on there for me personally. It threw me off, and it was awesome to see the Lions make that thing work, have an interception. The skies just weren't always the simple kind of what we think about, but the coverage techniques that they were showing a lot of different little things to kind of get players into position to throw off the quarterback. I thought more so in the back end by what they would show pre-snap in terms of the technique we would play, and then we could roll out of that, and I thought that was a cool little example that they did individually on this play. And really, Alex Anzalone on the tight end really doesn't have safety help as Tracy Walker rolls to the middle of the field, but then Aidan Hutchinson, as we're talking about, he had a great game. Didn't have like 10 sacks or 3 sacks in this game, but he had a lot of quick wins, and here he is working on the right tackle, maybe their best offensive lineman so far this year in pass protection, Moten, and look at the spin move here, bam. I mean, that's an instant win, force him to get the ball out of his hands, and those things don't show up in the stat sheet, but I feel like we hadn't showcased him individually that much the last few weeks, so I wanted to give him some of his flowers for making things like this happen, because there's been a discipline of pass rush lanes where sometimes he has to play through the tackle, or he has to win inside, or you can't completely just run around the tackle or the edge of the pocket. There's been a discipline to it, so his ability to still find wins within that, the bull rush has become so consistent. Then also that spin move has been just nasty. And then Alex, great coverage there. Again, we had the illegal contact, but Alex was doing his thing on that play. Here again, kind of showcasing an individual on this play, and this is another cover 1 look from the Lions defensively. You can see you have that off-ball zone linebacker and Jack Campbell there, but then it's Kirby Joseph. Now he's sitting inside leverage, so this becomes his responsibility to take this thing away. He does not have help. You can see Tracy Walker sitting a little bit more towards that outside slot receiver position, where Will Harris, if you notice pre-snap, he's sitting that outside leverage, okay? So we're kind of diving down, taking that away. Otherwise, you're manned up across the board on this. But Kirby Joseph to sit inside leverage against a receiver. Now, he gets him a little bit here at the top of the route, kind of shakes him, but then his ability to stick with this, I thought this was excellent coverage. And when you see it from the other angle, he didn't really grab that much at all. I mean, there was really no like pulling or anything. He might have had his hand on him. He didn't pull. Excellent coverage by Kirby Joseph, another guy that I thought individually played a really strong game, specifically in coverage. To me, this was really cool because I thought it kind of shook up what we've shown on tape in terms of the way that we play in the back end versus certain looks, while at the same time, it also emphasized Jerry Jacobs having to play one-on-one with literally no help like it may look like he get here. You would think looking at this, okay, maybe Tracy rolls over top. But also when you look at this, you're also, to me, thinking linebacker has underneath. If this goes vertical, that inside slot, he's going to run a corner route on this play. Tracy can take that. He'll sit underneath. Still, that isolates one-on-one here with Jerry Jacobs, and that's where the ball's going to go. But with that, the Lions do something a little bit different. Instead of having the linebacker just sit underneath this play, instead they're actually going to bring Jack Campbell off the edge. Now, they're also going to be a little tricky with this. So they're going to bring Jack Campbell, then they're going to roll down Kirby Joseph. All right? Because I even watching this, I'm like, what are we even doing offensively here? They're going to roll down Kirby Joseph. Notice at the snap, Will Harris is going to jump pretty much outside leverage on display. Now, they're going to man up here. Will Harris, Cam Sutton are man up on display. They're going to roll down Kirby Joseph, but he's not going to man up the inside slot. Instead, he's just going to sit inside to take away kind of these inside hitters. He's basically, in a way, kind of playing that inside role like we've seen in a sense. He's kind of playing like that linebacker role at the safety position. Then over top, as you see Kirby Joseph, or Tracy Walker starts to roll over there, he's actually going to man up. He's going to man up the inside slot, DJ Chark on display. So he slowly works his way over there, gets on top of this, and he mans that thing up. Then, as the two slants happen, they run double slants in the corner route on top of that. Kirby Joseph is not going to follow anything. Instead, he's just going to sit down here underneath zone. Will Harris, you see, gets to depth, gets around him. He's actually the guy that's open on this play. And then you sit underneath here, and again, the second slant that comes through, Kirby Joseph would have been in the way. But for Bryce Young, he looks that direction, sees that blitz coming, safety rolls down, but Tracy Walker sitting inside leverage, he could potentially try to drive on this to the inside. Bryce Young doesn't like it, and he looks away from it. On the backside here, that puts Jerry Jacobs on a one-on-one. It puts him on an island. They're manned up here. They're going to bring a blitz. So now Jerry Jacobs is playing one-on-one on this play against Adam Thielen, and he handles business. Okay, that's what's so impressive, is because at times we'd have to put different guys one-on-one, and they have to win that battle. And this is an example of them just straight up winning that battle. All this looks confusing. This side is simple. It's one-on-one. There's no help. Tracy Walker stays over top. So what that does is it just basically says, hey, Jerry Jacobs, you got to handle business. And look at him handle business. Stick through the top of the route, handle business in coverage, force an incomplete pass. They picked up the pass rush again, but we handle business with Jerry Jacobs doing his job. Romeo Quora, he's going to drop out on this play, and he's going to take away that quick hitter. Now, Bryce Young at times would kind of sit with that a little bit longer, and he had a completion out of it, but Romeo, I think, does a nice job. He sits inside, and then he drops out and actually takes away where the route is going. So we're kind of bracketing in, again, that quick underneath hitch that they like to take. You bracket that in. Then you also tie a blitz. So if that's for whatever reason kind of the hot read on the play, then you have a guy sitting in that spot, you could potentially get a sack out of it. Now, the creativity came from the Lions picking up sacks like this, kind of like the play that we saw earlier. You bring the slot very far away from the play. Will Harris has a long way to go. So you bring the slot, not Barnes, you bring Will Harris. He's going to rush, all right? So that's the first look that you get here. Will Harris is going to go. Now, the running back's not sitting in to pick this thing up because the Lions aren't showing blitz at all pre-snap on this play. Instead, Derek Barnes is actually going to match up with the back. Kirby Joseph is going to roll down and actually man up here. You're going to see they're going to pass it off. He's going to man up with Adam Thielen with inside leverage. So again, they're going to bring the slot blitz with Will Harris, and what they're going to do is, as we saw, they were slanting inside. They're going to bring in John Kaminsky to pull the right guard, and then they're going to bring Aidan Hutchinson around the outside to kind of open up that lane. On top of that, they also bring Alex Anzalone. Now, Alex, he comes immediately on this play. You see there's no hesitation, there's no delay. He's immediately rushing. So when John Kaminsky shoots inside, the guard can see Alex Anzalone in his vision. Now he's like, all right, cool. I got to slide back outside and take that away. All that does is no one now has attention to Will Harris. They blitz towards the running back, not away from him, not like this where the running back can see it. They blitz towards him, and they take everything away. Then they go cover zero defensively. And you can see there's really good communication in this game. You're going to see it right here. Communicating good across the board. Kirby's inside leverage takes that away, and it's good coverage. All those on. And again, good job by the defense here. You can see shooting outside, and Alex Anzalone keeping him in the pocket, or not in the pocket, but keeping him from taking off, and then they force a throwaway. Example that I just pointed out, taking away that inside slot quick look, empty look here, 2x3 or 3x2. They're going to drop out Benito Jones here, right here. So he's playing the 3 tech. He's actually going to drop out. They're going to bring that 3-man rush. You can see the little game they run at the top to fill pass rush lanes. That also puts a lot of, I think, discipline on Charles Harris to make sure that he keeps eyes on the quarterback like he does here. But they drop out Benito. Now, Bryce does a good job because, as you're going to see, they're going to go Tampa 2 defensively here. So like we talked about a little bit earlier, they're all playing that half turn. You're going to see Jerry Jacobs, he's going to press it towards the sideline. They're all playing zone coverage here, but they're going to drop out Benito, and he's actually doing his best. He turns himself around, tries to face guard kind of the inside slot, take that away. And I thought a big part of that.
The little thing I'll point out here is our outside corners awareness to kind of sink. They're empty on the play, so there's no backfield threat. So when they both go vertical, really on the outside, specifically to Jerry's side, to sink in coverage and not just let it immediately run by him and put a 2-on-1 in the back end, but to sink.
Part of that was trying to take away where they love to attack. We knew coming into this game they love to take away, they love to throw the screens. We took that away player-wise. Aidan Hutchinson has a pick. We're taking that thing away. We're flying to the ball, playing a lot of cover 3, putting a safety in the box. We take away the flats. We took those away. The other emphasis was we have to take away middle of the field. Here, you know they have to throw it. Who do you have to take away? Middle of the field. So how do you do that? Okay, Tampa 2. Well, that's great, but what does that leave open? As you know, as we know in Tampa 2, the underneath drag routes, right? Sitting right here in the middle of the field is wide open when you run Tampa 2 defensively because that linebacker is getting out of there no matter what like this. So this is usually wide open. So as Adam Thielen runs this quick hitch and then late he's going to break it open, that is actually what gets him open. Benito is trying to take that immediate look away while also taking away that dig route over the middle of the field. You can see Alex Anzalone trying to get depth on this play. So you take away the 2 looks that they really like to go to. Now Bryce does a nice job of kind of keeping the play alive and then late finding his receiver on the play, holding Benito Jones with his eyes. That was a really nice job by him. I think that was just a heck of a play. But you can see, again, the emphasis of we know we have to take away, and that's an idea of how to take it away. Of Derek Barnes losing a little bit of discipline. So we've seen this a lot. Now to the strong side, we have the 3 technique. Okay, watch on this play where we lose some discipline. Tracy Walker, again, play through the receiver, get inside. Cam Sutton's going to crash down outside. Notice what Derek Barnes does. He's seen this all day long. He, towards the receiver side, is going to shoot and scrape across the line immediately. All right, so Alex Anzalone fills the A gap. Here's Elliott McNeil. You can see Tracy Walker's trying to fill in this big-time lane that's usually been opened up. Elliott McNeil's kind of pushed off on this play. You can see that they do a really good job with the down block here. So instead of sitting into his lane, and as you're going to see, because Charles has to contain the edge on this play, he can't two-gap an offensive tackle. That's not going to happen. So it gives him flexibility, but he gets a little bit out of his lane, doesn't stay home necessarily, shoots over across the field, and the running back recognizes that, and all of a sudden that leads to another big run to the receiver because on this play, he leaves where his lane would have been. And you can see after the play, he's like, that's on me. He tried to go outside. I'm not mad at him trying to make a play. He's seen it all day. That's instinctual. But in that case, got a little bit out of his lane. This was just another good play by an individual, and this is Jerry Jacobs. Also, Alex Anzalone. He's going to slightly delay this blitz. Watch Alex on this play. So Lions are going to bring, as you're going to see, that 5-man rush here. But the running back is key because if the running back stands in, we were not doing a good job beating him. Not many teams have. So watch Alex Anzalone. He doesn't immediately, as the play is snapped, he's not driving down. Look at how he kind of leans forward, and then as soon as the running back takes his eyes off of him, and Derek Barnes has the running back manned up on this play, as soon as he's like, okay, he's not coming, I'm going out from throwing my little route here, check, and then release, Alex Anzalone says it's go time. That's what he does here. So he delays it slightly. He watches that way, doesn't see it coming, looks away, and Alex like, okay, he doesn't see me, I'm going. That was so subtle, but so clean by Duracell. That's a vet move right there. And then to me, Aidan Hutchinson winning again, of course. And then to me, it's Jerry Jacobs. Outside leverage, manned up on this play. Really, the only safety help is middle field here. And you're going to see, again on DJ Chark, just plays this extremely well. He's sitting outside. You're going to see him right here, gets it to his hip, presses him towards the sideline, and really just takes away all airspace. Jerry Jacobs handling business one-on-one on an island once again in this game. Going cover 1, but they're not going to go blitz. They're actually going to drop out Charles. Again, inside slot, they drop out Charles, take that quick first look away, force him to go beyond that. Then you have to create pressure. Here's how they created pressure. Again, Jack Campbell, they're going to shoot Elliott McNeil towards the inside, pull that guard. This time it actually works. They were handling it pretty well, but I think as you watch here, sometimes you have to kind of hide it, almost delay it a little bit. Really, you have to take that guard's emphasis away from it. And how do they do that? Jack Campbell walks up almost outside shoulder of Isaiah Buggs. So he's not middle field A gap. He's not right in the eyesight. He's inside walking up opposite side. Press, and then immediately he's going to loop outside. And then this right guard doesn't have vision of him. So by the time he steps in to handle Elliott McNeil, uses that quickness to pull him with him. Now when Jack Campbell slices around, there's no one to help out on the play. So again, little things, but creativity to get a free rusher. Here's a touchdown that we gave up. The only really thing I'll point to here, they're going to hit with a deep post route. They're going to hit Cam Sutton with the touchdown. He was a little bit hit and miss on the day, but I think the big thing here is that, again, that inside slot, single high free safety, which again is Tracy Walker. He is helping off here on Will Harris. I don't know if he was supposed to help as much as he did towards Will Harris. Not to say that Will was like sitting inside leverage or anything, but even at least he looks like he's playing straight up with Adam Thielen on this play. So, of course, he has kind of that two-way go, and you can see he's caught in trail pretty early on this play, so Tracy helps over. But Cam Sutton on this play almost looked as if he was expecting that the safety, Tracy Walker, was going to help him. You're going to see he's clearly outside of DJ Chark, playing off coverage in that playing off coverage here, manned up, and he doesn't get any help from Tracy Walker. So he's forced to cover just a ton of field. Tracy Walker slides over. If anything, I think they probably was expecting that, okay, Will Harris is going to have that one-on-one, and then, of course, I'm going to have Tracy Walker's help to the inside. He didn't get that help to the inside, and I think that was really the key thing that I look here in terms of giving up that touchdown. Excellent. This is excellent, and also communication, because this is what Cam Sutton does really well. They go cover 3 on this play. Now watch this. They're going to run a wheel route with the slot and a running back. So they put 3 receivers or 3 options on one side. We've seen this before, and we're like, what happened? Why is James Houston covering the dude down the field? The reason he is because if you're playing, like we've seen James Houston play off-ball backer, or you're putting him in almost outside the box slot alignment, like Jack Campbell is here, if they go vertical and cover 3 like this wheel route, you have to carry that. Because if you don't carry this, now Jerry Jacobs is 2-on-1. And if it's not fast enough to communicate, that wheel route towards the outside is going to be wide open if he just passes it off. Now, the communication is really strong here from Cam Sutton. Very fast. Watch him here. Watch him relay the message to the safety, to Jerry Jacobs. Watch this. Instantly. Play fake. Hey, switch. Instantly letting them know as soon as the play fake happens, look, safety, get over top. Allow Jerry Jacobs to pass that thing off. So instantly saying, hey, go. Slide that direction. I'm dropping out. Once that happens, now the safety slides over. Jerry can then drop out on his route. But this is really Jack Campbell to me, because this is something we've seen multiple times. Multiple teams have done it to us. They've had success. James hasn't been terrible in coverage, but they've had success. Look at Jack Campbell cover this thing up. This is really good coverage by Jack Campbell on that play. That's just straight up. That's all it is. Jack Campbell just covers him up really well. He's caught in the mix, and they take him away completely, and that allows Derek Barnes, who's sitting underneath, to fill the run, open up, and then shut down the running back and take it away. But that was set up by Jack Campbell, and I think really good communication. What we were trying to do was drop out. So you bring the blitzer. Now, the biggest issue I think here is that Jack Campbell, he was trying to sneak again and hide behind Isaiah Buggs, then loop around. The biggest issue to me on this play is that he runs right into Ali McNeil. Ali McNeil was trying to cross the face of the right guard to open up Jack Campbell's rush lane. Or not even Ali McNeil. I'm sorry, that's not even Ali McNeil in this play. But that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to cross the face, open up that pass rush lane. He does not get around Benito Jones. Benito Jones doesn't get clearly to the inside, and that causes Jack Campbell, who's trying to really press to the line and slide around. That causes him to run into him. So now, when you leave and you vacate that linebacker, all of a sudden, he doesn't get there. Now you have some extra time for the quarterback. And on top of that, you're dropping out, as you can see, an edge rusher on this play. If anything, Romeo maybe could have stuck with it a little bit better. He just dropped backwards. Maybe he could have flowed a little bit better. But he's taking it away. It just forced Bryce to hold the ball a tad longer. The issue there is that he ran into his own defensive lineman to shut it down. And then finally, we'll talk about a little bit more communication. Ali McNeil, to me, saves the day here. He saves the day. Watch this. All right, so here's the look that we're going to get. We're going to get a jet motion on this play. And watch how everybody matches up pretty darn well on this one. So you can see there's a tight end receiver, there's a receiver. So you can see boom, boom, boom. Okay, you can see everybody's got someone on here. Now there's only 2, so they motion across. So watch this. Watch how they communicate. Will Harris. Now he takes that inside tight end. So he takes the chip, and then he takes the flat away. So Will Harris takes the tight end. Then Tracy Walker, because now there's only 2 receivers on that side of the field, he steps in front, takes away this crossing route. So that's number 2. They pass off the crossing route because they have an extra number here. Tracy Walker opens up, steps in front, takes it away. He communicates with Cam Sutton as they motion away. So now we say, okay, he's got tight end. Who does Cam Sutton have? He takes the running back. So now he takes the running back into the flat. Finally, Adam Thielen is the last choice. Before the snap, it looks easy. You get through the 3 receivers. We got this. Okay, cool. But as they motion away, Cam Sutton now takes the running back as Adam Thielen kind of hides, and then late he leaks out on this play. Alex Anzalone, as the running back goes away, and you see Sutton takes it and they jet away from it, he's going to say, okay, I'm going to key and take away that quarterback. So he gets in the quarterback's face instantly on this play. And to me, it's Ali McNeil then, because Alex Anzalone is not taking away Thielen. He doesn't even see him. There wasn't seemingly that recognition to take that away. It comes down to Ali McNeil, who fights off his block, finds Adam Thielen, and then says, look, I got to take that away. He saw him and took it away. So he took down the very last option away. Outside of that, very good across the board. Will Harris finds the tight end, all kind of just like in the moment, just reacting. Takes away tight end. Tracy opens up, communicates with Sutton, takes the running back. Alex shoots down to take away the quarterback. And it's Lee McNeil, to me, who kind of saves the day here. But Tracy Walker, Sutton do a really nice job. Yes, That to me was a good example. Now, we gave up plays in the red zone. We gave up the little touchdown where we had kind of manned up Jack Campbell, the tight end. Jack Campbell played the run, kind of just played the edge position, and then it was a chip, and then he just kind of broke to the middle, and they scored a touchdown. This was another strong defensive game. Was not perfect. We gave up some gash plays in the run game. We gave up some big completions in the pass game, but it was not a consistent, explosive, fest for the offense. We really limited the middle field, the screens, and the quick hitters underneath. We took a little bit to get the pass rush going, but we did, and then we gave a couple sprinkled disguise looks in there to be opportunistic. And then, of course, the forced fumble was another big play. I just couldn't tell it was scripted. I think it may have been a Lee McNeil, but I couldn't tell, so I didn't put that one in here. But overall, I thought it was a good performance. We'll move on to the offense next. Take over there. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.